a while since we've made a Tacoma video.
Yes.
And we thought we'd pick the coldest, windiest, snowiest day possible to do that.
But it'll be pretty.
But the topic we picked is one that's near and dear to us.
Yeah, probably the conversation I have the most with my friends and with clients is, how do I figure out where in Tacoma is the right place for me? Like what neighborhood, what house, like how do I figure this out?
So you've decided you're either moving, you've been told you're going to relocate. How do you narrow down? And when we're talking about Tacoma, we're actually usually talking about Pierce County.
Or as I like to call it, the greater Tacoma area.
Which encompasses a lot of different neighborhoods beyond just Tacoma.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about some questions to ask, ways to narrow down where you might want to live. So the thing that the Pierce County neighborhoods have in common is the connection to the water and the mountain. Pretty much wherever you're at, you're going to get a bit of either. But after that, that's where the similarities end, right?
Yeah, there's a big variety within Pierce County of homes, of neighborhoods. So what I usually like to start by asking people is, when you think of living in your home, like what is it that you want? Do you want to be able to get up and walk to the coffee shop and the grocery store? Or are you interested in having a house where you can't see your neighbor and you don't mind driving 30 minutes to get to things? Like this county offers the whole spectrum, and that combined with your budget is probably going to determine where you end up more than anything.
So let's talk about what it actually costs to live in Pierce County.
Right, so right now, the Pierce County median home price is right around $500,000. In Tacoma, it's a little bit less, probably $450-ish, but it's important to recognize that compared to Seattle, our neighbors to the north, they're paying $750,000, $800,000 median for a house. So we are comparatively very affordable. A lot of the folks that we have moving here are coming from King County.
And other expensive metros.
Right, so there are, of course, opportunities to get something for less, but it's important to recognize where the baseline price is right now.
So after you've narrowed down your budget, next thing you may want to consider is your commute, because this area, just like other West Coast metros, is increasingly having traffic issues. So whether you're going to JBLM, you're commuting north to Seattle, you're staying here and working in our hospitals, there's lots of factors to consider. So add that on to you've got commute, you've got budget, and then you've got to figure out lifestyle and the type of home that you want to live in.
Exactly.
So after you've narrowed down some areas based on your commute, your budget, what else might you be looking at?
I think one of the biggest things is people have an idea in their head of what kind of house they want to live in. For some people, that's historic. For some people, it's new construction. And what we know as local experts is that that's going to dictate probably more than you realize the neighborhood that you end up in. Because in all of the city of Tacoma, we have almost no new construction homes. It is a city of historic neighborhoods.
We have beautiful Tudors, Craftsmen, but
Absolutely.
Not really the place to get your, you'd go over here maybe.
To Northeast Tacoma.
Or Puyallup, or Sumner.
Or Gig Harbor.
Yeah.
Those are places that have lots of planned new construction communities that have been built over the last 10, 20 years, right? And so that in itself, if you tell your realtor, what I want is a new construction house on a cul-de-sac and price is an issue, that's gonna really help us zero in on some spots. Or if you're like, oh no, I need a water view and new construction.
Maybe down to Point Ruston.
Exactly, so this is gonna help us a lot more than something like, I just want a safe neighborhood. So why is it so unhelpful when someone says, I just want to live in a safe neighborhood, just help me find a house in a safe neighborhood? Why is that so unhelpful?
Well, because first of all, of course, everyone wants to live in a safe neighborhood. No one ever says to us, I want to live in an unsafe neighborhood.
It's never happened.
But the term itself is highly subjective.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of what feels safe to an individual or what the priority around safety is. It might be not having a ground level condo or having an attached garage. I mean, it really means different things. So our job is to dig deeper and pull that out and not just stop at that kind of entry level conversation.
Yeah, for me, the way that this always hits is, I grew up way out in East Pierce County, and a lot of people say, I feel safe when I can't see my neighbors, when I have lots of wide open space. And for me, that's when it's dark. I don't feel safe. I feel safe in a building with 150 other people. And for other people, like that is not safety.
Well, and then also recognizing there's another layer here that is really important, which is that realtors are not supposed to be providing demographic information.
Absolutely
We have to be mindful of fair housing laws. And so understand that when you ask your realtor something, they're not avoiding the question, but they do need to be helpful but cautious in the types of information, and really they're supposed to point you to resources.
Yes.
So go look at the city's crime information, the local police department. Demographic information is widely available.
Yeah.
Google.
Well, and I think the most important thing is that there is not, sadly, anywhere in Pierce County, nay, anywhere in the country that is crime-free, whatever people's perception of their neighborhood or someone else's neighborhood might be. Like, it just doesn't exist. So looking that information up can tell you what you can expect.
Well, and this raises another important point, which is the value of your realtor is not their ability to say, yes, this neighborhood is safe and this one is not safe. The value of a realtor is for them to advocate on your behalf, to protect your interests inside of your purchase and sale agreement, to help you know whether that property is a good value relative to what else is sold nearby. It's a lot of things that often we're not thinking about because this is sort of the easiest thing to grab onto. So if they're setting some boundaries with you around that, don't feel like they're not giving you good service. Understand that they have to answer your questions and meet your needs in a little different way.
So, Anne, why is it that good schools question feels a lot like the safety question?
I think the same dynamic is at play, which is everyone wants good schools, everybody wants a safe neighborhood. What's important, again, determining what's important to your family, your student, and then figuring out how to get that information for the area you're looking at. So you might then ask your realtor to make an intro with the principal of an area school. Do they know a parent who's got a student there? If all else fails, dig a little deeper than what you're getting on the review websites like niche.com or greatschools.com. Go straight to the source. Here in Washington, that's OSPI website, where you can get a report card for every public school in the state of Washington. Just, dig a little bit deeper. I think out of convenience, so much information is sort of integrated into real estate search sites, and it rules out a lot of schools that really deserve attention.
Well, and I think that ties into the next topic really well, which is when you have a realtor guiding you who is a local expert, they're going to have these connections.
Right. If you're working in areas that are out of your sort of knowledge base or your relationship base, it's going to be a lot harder, and you're going to end up, your realtor is going to be relying on the same information that you're finding online. Okay, so we have laid out a pretty good framework for how to narrow down, areas in the greater Pierce County area you might be interested in based on a variety of criteria. How now do you find a realtor who specializes in those areas?
Right, and I mean, you own Windermere Abode now, a real estate company. I have moved to Tacoma.com, so that conversation about how do we find the perfect real estate agent for a client relocating here is, it's a conversation we're having all the time.
Yep.
So the biggest thing is once you've done all this work to narrow down your price range, your commute, the neighborhood, the type of community you're in, you deserve to work with someone who specializes in that, has experience and deep expertise in that.
Because, really, buying waterfront, for example, is a very different experience from, say, a new construction or even a condo property.
Absolutely.
They have different processes that go with them, and different communities have nuances that are equally important. Does somebody work and understand how septic works versus being in city and dealing with
sewers? Yes.
These are going to be big parts of your purchase and inspection process.
And I think for people who are relocating outside the area, it's just hard for them to know, unless someone helps them understand, that there is a difference in expertise between an agent who works in Olympia or Tacoma or Seattle. These are all very different markets and they require different expertise. So making sure to match yourself to an agent who specializes in what you're doing, I think that is the key to success.
Absolutely. A lot of times people are choosing a realtor, they kind of stumble into the relationship. They pick somebody because they like them, and that is important. Because you're going to be having a lot of hard conversations.
Yeah.
You need to be partnered with someone you trust, who you can share your hopes and dreams with.
Yes.
But that, in combination with somebody who specializes in the area where you want to live, that's the sweet spot, right?
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing, is that, buying a house is one of the hardest things, right? There's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of things can pop up.
So who you choose is incredibly important.
Yeah, and trusting that person, and that trust also comes coming from their deep expertise in what you're doing, it just makes everything a lot smoother if you're not second guessing the person that you're working with.
So you've got to narrow a neighborhood, understand what the lifestyle is that you're looking for, ask the right questions to find somebody who specializes in that area or in that type of property, and then interview them. Connect, make sure you click, and hopefully you're off to find the property of your dreams. So we've given you some of our tips and the questions that we like to ask when we're chatting with people who are moving to the area. You may have everything that you need to pick a realtor that's right for you.
Yeah, I mean, you have what you need, but if you would like some help with your process, you can always hit up Anne, or you can reach out to me and we can help you find a realtor to find your perfect place in Tacoma.